What's good, y'all? It's the one and only King Cal 516 live in the mix, and this is the Switch Flames podcast. So, boy, oh boy, these Zion Williamson rumors of Zion being unhappy just seem to not want to go away. I've been kind of downplaying them the last few months, haven't done anything to talk about it to you guys, but recently I'm seeing another push of certain things coming out of possibly Zion being unhappy, and I would like to discuss that today. But before I do, please be sure to check out the website, www.swissflames.com. Hit us up on Twitter at SwissFlames, and definitely check out the Facebook page and YouTube page at Swiss Flame Podcast. And for those of you that enjoy the podcast on YouTube, definitely appreciate you guys. We just reached 900 subscribers today, and we look forward on continue to grind and continue to give you guys some great content for this upcoming season. And so let's dive into the Zion Williamson situation. First and foremost, I want to kill the elephant in the room. You know, there's a crowd of people that get upset, players wanting to leave teams and players to be faithful and loyal. And there's a certain crowd of people that love loyalty. Hey, I'm not against that either. I like seeing stories like Giannis. I do appreciate that. But I'm also a realist to sit there and say that not every situation is a great situation for you. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of fully what's going on in New Orleans, but if I'm just giving an honest view from the outside looking in, I don't see New Orleans right now from the outside looking in being able to turn that organization around in the next few seasons to be a championship contending team. To me, they don't look like they have an identity. They don't look like they're going anywhere big time, anywhere, anytime soon. So that's just my honest assessment from the outside looking in. Some people may disagree with me, but I don't see them competing for a title anytime soon. That's my honest assessment. Now, I am not Zion Williamson. I can't speak for Zion. But this whole notion that a player can't be upset just because he just got there. You know, this Zion is going on his third season, if I'm not mistaken, right? Which means by next season, he'll be eligible for an extension. Zion Williamson shows that he has a lot of potential, but just because he's in a situation and he's a star player doesn't mean he has to be happy. Maybe he's not happy, right? So my whole thing, and why am I bringing this up, is just because you draft a player doesn't mean you have a great environment for that player to thrive. And if that player doesn't think you have a great environment for them to thrive, it's okay for them to be disgruntled, maybe not like the situation, and maybe look to get themselves out of there when they can at the right time. Now, we know the way the CBA is designed is players, to make the most money, you want to get that full extension. When you reach extension eligible, you want to get that first extension with the team that you're playing for, because that's how you're going to make the most money. That's why most of the time these star players who get drafted by teams will stay, usually like the first 7 years. Most of the time you'll see players stay with the team they're on, that they got drafted by, because that's how they can make the most money. But once they get that first extension, there's ways for them to finagle to get themselves out of that situation and still be able to get, you know, a good amount, their money for the next extension to get with their new team if they force their way out. We just saw AD just go through this. We just saw Anthony Davis go through this. So it's definitely possible. And there's a lot of players that have done this and shown us that you can do this. When I go out to work and I'm at a job and I don't like it, and I find out real quick that I don't like it, then yes, I have the opportunity right now to make a decision to get out of there. So I think teams should be held accountable, and it's not just, the players should just be loyal, but teams, you got to be held accountable too. If you're a small market team, the best way for you to get better is, because you're not going to get the superstar player a lot of times coming to sign you directly, you got to hit on a draft. And if you hit on a draft against star players, you got to be able to draft at a high level if you are a small market team. And you got to hit on some of these draft picks. This is one of the reasons why Portland Trailblazers have struggled, because right now Portland is not the place where right now that top of the line free agents want to go to. So you got to hit on a draft, or you got to hit on a trade. That's the best way for small market teams to get themselves, you know, the kind of caliber players that they hope that can carry them to the promised land. So you're a team like Milwaukee, you drafted good, you got Giannis, right? You drafted good, you know what I'm saying, you got Giannis in there. You know what I'm saying? And then you start building a great foundation around him of players that can help him achieve his goal. It took a couple years, but Milwaukee did it the right way, and that's a great blueprint. So if these rumors are true and Zion Williamson is unhappy, that's on the New York Pelicans. That's on David Griffin. Because right now, like I said, from the outside looking in, the New Orleans Pelicans do not look like a team that's anywhere close to contending for a championship anytime soon. Yes, you got Brandon Ingram. That's a good building block. Young. You got Zion Williamson, a good building block. You got some other young pieces, but nothing in that Wild Wild West tells me that this team is anywhere ready to compete. Zion Williamson, let's break Zion Williamson down for a second. Zion Williamson, coming out of college, was one of the biggest stars coming out of college in a long time. The hype around Zion Williamson, probably, if we're just looking at it in all honesty, there's probably been no young player coming out and going to the NBA with that much buzz since LeBron James. And we know LeBron went straight from high school to the NBA. Zion Williamson had a lot of hype around him. He's been in the NBA for a few seasons. What kind of hype is around Zion Williamson at this time? That is a serious thought. I can probably sit there and say Trae Young has built his stock and his stock has risen. I can say Luka Doncic. Now, both these guys got drafted a year ahead of Zion. But I would sit there and say both of these guys right now are bigger names in the game. Zion is popular, don't get me wrong. But right now, I think the star of Luka Doncic and Trae Young, especially what Trae Young just recently did in his playoffs, and Luka's made the playoffs the last 2 seasons. And so Zion, the stepping stone needs to be, let's get to the playoffs. Do the Pelicans have a chance to make the playoffs this year? Yes. Is it a slim chance? Yes. They're probably going to fight for a play-in if they exceed, but I can't see them in the Wild Wild West over teams like Denver, the Lakers, you know what I mean, Portland, Phoenix, Utah. Those 5 teams right there. I don't see them better than any of those teams. You know what I mean? And that's 5 teams right there. And if Golden State gets a healthy Klay Thompson, I'll put Golden State there too. That's 6 teams right there that I can't see them having a better season than. Even the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard, I still believe the Clippers are going to be fighting anywhere from 5 to 8. I do believe the Clippers can still make the playoffs. I just think they're going to be a lower playoff seed this year. You understand what I'm saying? And now you talk about a Memphis team, which, let's talk about Memphis real quick. Memphis, you had to draft Zion Williamson and Ja Morant, right? Ja Morant was in the playoffs. So if you're Zion Williamson, you're looking at this, you're like, okay, he may understand that, okay, maybe not championship right now, but man, I want to be making the playoffs. Even Ja made the playoffs. So in essence, I believe Zion is a competitive guy, so I can understand him, hoping that his team is put in the right direction so that they at least be contended for the playoffs. And then once you get in the playoffs, who knows what could happen? I mean, what happened with Trae Young in Atlanta this year? I mean, they won 2 series. You know what I'm saying? They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Once they beat the Knicks, you build that confidence. All of a sudden, you might be riding on the high horse and you don't know what can happen. But right now, New Orleans is going to be fighting to even try to get into the playoffs. And we'll see what happens. They got a new head coach, so we're going to have to give their new head coach a chance. But as far as what they did this offseason, and if I was Zion Williamson looking at this offseason, I am not encouraged by what I saw. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got Devontae Graham coming in and get rid of Lonzo Ball. That's a lateral movement. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think that moves the needle in any way. They cleared a bunch of cap space hoping to land Kyle Lowry. That didn't work. That would have been a nice little look if you were able to get Kyle Lowry, but that didn't happen. So if you're Zion Williamson, truth be told, yes, you're a big-time player. You're a very popular player. But the truth be told, are people talking about you a lot right now? No, not really. Are you the talk of the town? No. Does Luka get more coverage? It seems like Luka does get more coverage. It seems like Trae Young gets more coverage. So you're Zion Williamson. You're probably thinking about your brand and trying to increase your brand. And you're thinking about winning. And so if the Pelicans situation is not helping with either one of those two to increase it, you're going to have problems. And once again, like I said, it's on these teams to create a winning environment for these star players coming in, because winning to a lot of them means a lot. And if you can't get the job done, you risk losing them. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you something. The Pelicans lose Zion Williamson right after losing a generational talent like AD. They may never be able to recover from that anytime soon. Very important. I can't stress enough. You have to create a stable environment for these young players coming in so they can trust and believe what's going on and buy in. Is Zion Williamson buying into the Pelicans? I don't know. Because this year, we just talked about they have a new head coach, but this year, this is Zion Williamson's third head coach in 3 years. So now he's coming into another season where a coach is coming in who's probably going to bring, obviously, a different philosophy in. So David Griffin, to me, he's under the clock. If you know what I'm saying, he's got to be on the clock. If things go sour this year, and if David Griffin is on the hot seat, I wouldn't be surprised. Because I cannot see ownership of the New York Pelicans not put Zion Williamson over David Griffin at this time. Because if they lose Zion Williamson, the Pelicans it may be hard for the Pelicans to get any star talent like that for a long time. They kind of got lucky in the time AD left that Zion, they got the number one pick to get Zion Williamson. And you cannot lose two generational talents and expect to be competitive in a league that's based upon talent. And so these Zion Williamson rumors aren't going away. And if they're true, Pelicans, you're on the clock to do something, because right now, like I said, the way your team is looking, it's not looking like a sustainable situation for a superstar player to feel comfortable being in. So we'll see what happens with this whole situation. But this whole notion, I just want to stress one last thing again. We got to stop telling and acting like players should just tolerate because the team drafted them and just be loyal. The teams also, I have to stress, have to fulfill their end of the bargain as well by putting these players in the best position to win, creating a stable environment, creating a winning culture, and getting the right personnel so that these players can thrive too. That's the obligation that they need to provide, or these things are going to continue to happen where these players are going to want to leave and get out of there. And with that said, it's your boy King Kyle 516 signing off for the Swiss Flame Podcast. Let me know what you think about the Zion Williamson situation. Do you think that the Pelicans are a great spot for him? Do you think the Pelicans are handling their business and doing what they should do to keep Zion happy? Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Once again, appreciate you guys for getting us to 900 subscribers on YouTube. We're going to continue to bang out these content for you. Until next time, peace.